Welcome to Loving Me Before I Love You with Tammy Nicole, the podcast dedicated to you loving and putting yourself first. Others have come first in your life for years, and you know it's time for that to change. You're about to be empowered to set healthy boundaries, confidently have hard conversations, unapologetically put yourself first, and live the peaceful life you deserve. Remember, self-love is essential, and loving yourself sets the stage for every other love in your life. So get ready to embrace self-love like never before with your host, Coach Tammy Nicole.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Loving Me Before I Love You. We are super excited about today's episode. As you know, we're in the month of July and we are discussing freedom, living our authentic selves and having fun while doing it. And today is no different. I have a guest with me today. She is a brand image mentor for women who are introverted and still living their lives authentically through their businesses and their brands. And we have with us Miss Andreia Ferreira. Andreia, welcome to the show. We're so excited that you joined us.
Thank you so much for having me, Tammy. It is a great pleasure to speak about this theme, and it's amazing that we have the freedom to speak about it.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about why you chose this line of work and how did you get started in helping women live their authentic selves through their brand imaging?
It was because I went through that journey. And once I went through that journey, I understood that I wouldn't be the only one facing the struggles, the need to overcome the fears I went through. So to give a little bit of a backup of my journey, of my story, I suffered from severe anxiety to take pictures for over 10 years. And at the time, I didn't even thought of having a business. And it was quite a mess, mostly when I gathered with friends and family. When the time of taking the picture came, it was a mess. I would end up crying, and most of them would think I was doing that for attention, which was not. But I couldn't express myself why that was happening. I didn't understood why that was happening, and once we don't have that clarity and cannot uh, express what's happening, others take their conclusions, right?
Yes,
And
they will form their own opinion when you cannot verbalize what you have going on.
totally,
Absolutely.
totally, and that's unempowering, right? And afterwards, yeah, I went through that struggle for over 10 years, and I even started to not going to events and gatherings, so I could not face the fears and
Yeah, you're
the
avoiding.
anxiety. Yes, I was on the victim side, right? I was avoiding, I was running from it. But once that I understood that I was on the victim side, I understood that I couldn't be on that side if I couldn't be running from the things, because everything in life, it's not easy, or not all is easy. And if we run away of our problems, they don't vanish, right? They are
No,
there,
they still
and at
exist.
some
Yeah.
point they will grab our leg.
Yeah.
So yes, I understood I needed to overcome that, and I started to go on my journey on myself. But afterwards, I was still working on that, and I started my first business. It was a local shop. Then 2 years later, I decided to go on the digital. And for the first 3 years of my virtual business, my digital business, I didn't show up because I was still working on overcome that anxiety to take pictures. And I noticed that other people that were showing up were having more success, and not many of them were that good as I was. And I started to be frustrated, overwhelmed, and I was not understanding why those people that were not giving or offering a good offer or a good transformation to other people, they were
We're still
having
being
more
successful.
success.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they were making the connections, they were being relatable, they were building a community, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what's happening here? Then I understood what was happening. They were putting themselves in front of their business, not
Yeah.
hiding behind like I was.
Yes.
So little by little, I started to overcome the anxiety, and now here I am making videos, going on podcasts and sharing my story. And one thing I realized that, and I was just thinking about this before we joined, that the more I use my voice, the more thoughts it brings to me for me to speak. And
Yeah.
it's amazing how the brain works, right?
Yeah.
Once I always say that I don't like the term. Many people say that you need to step out of your comfort zone. I
Yeah.
don't believe that. I believe that we enlarge our comfort zone because it's a step by step way,
Mm-hmm.
and we will always start think a new thing from a base we had.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's something we never done before, it has always a base in there.
There's some
Maybe your
connection.
beliefs, maybe your values. Yes, there are always a base there. So we are enlarging, and my process was about that, enlarging my comfort zone step by step. And yes, I grabbed plenty of knowledge. I also grabbed the knowledge I gathered from working 18 years in the fashion industry in several areas, but 18 years in the fashion industry. And I also realized that all the knowledge I was gathering so I could overcome the anxiety, I
Mm-hmm.
understood that I was trying to be perfect so I
Mm-hmm.
could not be judged. I was trying to fit uh, the societal rules.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to build a character so I could show up in a way that would look
Be
professional.
acceptable to others. Yes, I get that.
Yes.
It's interesting that you say that we need to enlarge our comfort zone versus stepping out of it, because I also struggled with um, showing up, right, and being the face and being in front of the business so that people can connect. I struggle with that a lot, to be honest. I started this podcast technically a year ago, and I haven't been consistent because I have this one little thing about being, like you just said, uh, kind of, I don't want to say perfect, but I will say, being the look that says she has it together, but I'm okay with mistakes, if that makes sense. But I also had that issue of my voice. So I don't like the sound of my voice. And so when I decided to do my own self-love journey and discover that we can still love ourselves in totality, even the things we don't like. But you have to move forward with them. You have to push through and excuse me, you have to push through and use them because you have it for a purpose and a reason. And as you say, you share your story and other people can connect with the story that you have and build a community because we're all connected in one way or the other.
Mhm.
And we just want to be able to have that connection and live a life of, freedom and being authentic and not having to put on a mask or a facade for others just to be ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yes, totally. And thank you so much for being vulnerable and share that part of you. And I can tell you, even if you don't like your voice, you have one.
Yeah.
And you need to use that. So
Yep.
many people don't have, literally, right? Many people cannot speak.
Yeah.
First takeaway, and the other, there are many people that want to speak
Hmm.
but don't have the freedom to do it
Yep. Absolutely.
also. So it's so important. And I say, once you have the freedom to do you, and once you do you, you give the freedom for others to also do them.
Yep.
And yes,
You
yes,
you promote
that's
it.
very, very inspiring.
Yeah, because people see, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. And
Totally.
honestly, that is what really happened for me. Like, I was watching something and I was like, oh, her voice is deep and raspy and she's out here making millions. You know, you have to snap out of it and just say, this is me, accept me fully without reservation. Because whoever your tribe is, I call it the tribe, the community that you want to build, whoever they are, they're going to come, they're going to listen, they're going to support, they're going to tap in because what you have is for them. And each individual person is built to have that community set aside for them because that's their tribe. That's who they were, made for. So yes, once you have that revelation about who you are and how you can live freely and unapologetically you, it makes a whole lot of difference. It's like why I started the self-love journey and why I am, here trying to help other women know that they can be a success in public as well as a success in private, and be their authentic self and not always just feel like they have to put that mask on to live and then go home and cry.
Yes, totally. And this happens with so many women. And I was on that path also, right?
Hmm.
Trying to be perfect, trying to look like X and Y because
Yep.
they have all we think they have, right? Because
Yes,
we
because it
only
looks like
know
it.
what, yes, because we only know what the
They
others
show
share.
us.
You
Yep.
only know about me, what I share, right?
Correct.
And people need to remember about that, mostly on social media, that you see a small part of the
Yep.
person.
A
And
glimpse.
this is something I need to speak now. And if it's something you need to take this, you don't need to share everything,
Mm-mm.
but what you share, it needs to be 100% true. And there are many people trying to build personal brands
Mm-hmm.
over something that isn't true. And
Mm-hmm.
that isn't sustainable for you, for your business, and for
Yep.
the people who connect with
Listen.
that
Mm-hmm.
character. Because after all, I was always saying that you need to be yourself and not create a character. But to be honest, this is something I learned just a few months ago, um, is that we are all characters because we don't show everything. We show a small part of us.
Mm-hmm.
But again, what you share, what you show needs to be true. And
Absolutely.
you can do you. People will relate with you.
Yeah, because it's very hard to keep up with the character if it's not true, right? Because at
Mhm.
some point, I think about like when you are building an image in front of people from a professional standpoint, and then you go and, for lack of better words, let your hair down and have a good time. And, maybe one of your followers or, your someone in your community sees you out in a public space on your downtime. And it's not the same image that they had of you from your professional window or your brand window that you created. It can taint that brand in totality. But if you're yourself the whole time and someone sees you out, they see you. They see you the way you were on that stage, and they see you in your personal private time still being the same person, and it kind of helps build. People want to have a connection with you, and if they see that that connection was very faulty or false, it's easy to break it, and once you break it, it's hard to bring it back. So I 100% agree. And no, you don't need to share your everything, but I think that if we share different facets of our personality and who we are and stay authentic in that sharing, it makes things a lot easier for people to connect and grow and follow you. Have value, have something that you provide, and to provide an impact. Don't just be out here willy-nilly in it, but still giving some type of value to the community is where it really resonates.
Yes,
So I love
for
the work that
sure.
you're doing. Why introverted? Why introverted women?
Because I'm also one. And
Okay.
I only understood that through my journey. Because I'm quite talkative when I speak with people I truly like and speak about things I truly like.
You're
And
familiar.
I'm also a shy, and it's important to understand that a shy person not always is an introvert person.
Mm-hmm.
And many people confuse the two things. Introversion is a trait of personality.
Mm-hmm.
Shyness, it's created according to life experiences.
Mm.
Probably you had some experience that made you retrain more of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and now, depending on where you are, you restrain to share how
Mm-hmm.
you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think those are
Introvert,
people that sometimes normally have to warm up to someone. Like, they don't really say a whole lot in the beginning, but then once they get comfortable, they may start talking. Yeah, I
yes,
consider
totally.
that a shy person for sure.
Yes, that's me. If I go to a place that I don't know many people, and even knowing until some years ago, when my kid would have his birthday party, I
Mm-hmm.
would in a corner, and all the family was in other place, and was there, and I only would talk with someone if they approach me. I wouldn't go after them. So yes, I'm a shy person, and if I go to nowadays, I'm working on being more approachable and making the first step. But
Mm-hmm.
this is something we work on. An introvert person, it's a trait. You never end to be introvert person. You can be a little bit more outgoing and enlarge your comfort zone so you can do things you wouldn't do before. But introversion is very much attached to energy.
Mm.
Introverts need their time alone to fuel their energy.
Yeah, they got to
Extroverts
recharge.
need to be outside, need to be making something, need to be with people so they can have their energy. Introverts can be with other people, but then after they need time alone so they can fuel the energy back. So are different ways of managing energy.
Yeah.
And I understood that because normally nowadays we say, and I also say that you need to show up for people to remember you, to connect with you, but you don't need to be out there out loud dancing and do what you see many people doing because it's their way or they are trying to fit a way. You can
Mm-hmm.
do your way.
Wow, today's episode is a good one. I know you're enjoying it, and we'll get back to it shortly. Just wanted to take a quick break to let you know that Tammy would love for you to share any questions, comments, or topic ideas you have with her. All you have to do is send them to her in an email to podcast@IamTammyNicole.com. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get back into today's show.
Yes. So, I was telling that once you understand how you operate, how your personal traits can help you, you can show up in a way that fits, that aligns with your essence. And that's very important because, again, if you do things in an alignment, it won't be sustainable. So, yes, for you to show up and do this in the long road, right?
Hmm.
We are in business, so we it's not to end tomorrow, right? We
Right,
are envisioning.
longevity.
Yes. So it's important that we do things in alignment. It's important to try things, but understand what fits our energy, our essence, and do things according to our beliefs, to our values.
Do you have strategies that you teach to help women do those things?
Yes, first we work on the mindset itself,
Hmm.
understanding who they are, why they want to show up. It's very important to understand why you want to show up, because if you don't believe in what you want, there are strategies for you to show up, but you won't do them intentionally. So it's very important to understand what's your vision of success, what is your essence in a whole.
Hmm.
So then we work on the outside. First we work in the inside. It's a deep journey, and then we work on the outside. I'm also a image consultant and also a post coach, and I bring that not to bring the professional side, the perfect uh, um, image of you, but for you to understand how you want to align it with your essence and how you can feel confident and comfortable sharing yourself. Yes.
Awesome. That's really important, though. You know, on the other side, so being a self love coach for myself, I do focus more so on the inner first, right? Because you have to know who you are. So that very much so aligns in general. Like self love to me is like the key to most things, if not all. Like how you
Mhm.
show up in a room is really how you feel on the inside. It's not just, and if you show up fake, because, people do what they call fake it till they make it. And there are times where we don't feel like doing something and we show up because it's our obligation or, our commitment. And I'm not speaking from that perspective, but I'm speaking like in general, right? We show up how we feel. Our energy can be detected if we're not being authentic most times. People, you may think you are disguising it, but other people in the room who live authentic lives can pull that energy and feel like, oh, okay, that person's not being real. You know what I mean? Like they look like they're enjoying life, but something's missing, something's empty,
Mhm.
something's not there. So I totally get it. Because I focus on self awareness first. Like you need to be aware of who you are.
Totally. And this is very, what I understood with my journey is that many times, mostly when we start a business, we focus very much on the business, right?
Hmm.
And it's very much on the professional side, on the career, or on the
Hmm.
financial side,
Oh yeah.
and we forget that our life has plenty of more areas, and we if we only excel on those areas, we will end to burn the other ones. So it needs to have we need to find balance between all of the areas of our life, our family, our own well-being, our health, our mental health, and so
Yeah.
many more, right? And yes, I love that you work on bringing awareness. I also bring that very much because business is part of our life, not the
Hmm.
opposite, right? Many people try to fit their life in their business,
Inside the
and it needs
business.
to be the opposite.
How do they do that? How do you recommend someone changing that perception of I'm not my business, but my business is a part of me?
First, what made a difference for me was understanding that I'm the most important person of my life. And this can be very, very triggering, mostly for mothers, right?
Hmm.
It's very hard to put us in first place, but
Right.
it's like they teach us when we go to fly, right?
Hmm.
You need to put the oxygen mask in yourself first so
And
you
then
can
your
help
child.
others.
Hmm.
And it's very difficult to try to help other people in an area that you haven't excelled yet,
Hmm.
that you didn't work on it yet, right?
Hmm.
So yes, it's very important to understand that. And the second, once I understood that, I changed my daily routine or
Hmm.
my schedule.
Hmm.
It's very important to plan because many people think that planning is kind of a prison because you have all
A
the
structured schedule.
those things in your schedule, but it actually gives you freedom because you have a guidance on how you want to operate, because you will put on your calendar, on your schedule, what is important for you. If you
Absolutely.
are only filling that with things that are not that important, you are missing something.
Yeah.
And one thing that I started to do once I understood that I'm the most important person of my life is when I schedule things, the first thing I schedule is me time, time for myself. So I
Yes.
have my time blocks that I know that time is for me, and
Yes.
it can be in the morning, can be in the night, it can be in both. I have in the morning, in the night. I have
Yes.
on
Whatever the
Monday
need is,
mornings
right?
also time for me, and it's very important. And you can think that but I need to do so many things in my business, but if you don't take care of you, you will not be able to take care of your business. And yes, there are some times that you need to focus more on the business and a little bit less on you, but it's important that you do, at least you understand what are the most important areas of your life, and at least you do one thing per day in each area, so you can, okay, I'm not able to do three or five, but at least this is an non-negotiable thing
Yeah.
I have, right? And yes, many people think that for me to excel in life or in business, I do need to do so many things, but
For everybody else.
have a non-negotiable thing for each area. So, and do that. Maybe it's meditating, uh, according to yourself. Maybe it's meditating.
Hmm.
Maybe is drinking that much of water per day. Maybe it's walking. Maybe is taking a cold shower. I don't know. You know
Everybody's
your way,
personal
right?
idea is different, yes, but they can do several different things. If it's reading a book, putting a puzzle together, um,
Mm-hmm.
it just has to be self fulfilling and something that builds you up and refills you from the perspective that you did it, that it didn't come from somewhere else, that it came from within. So I 100% agree. I'm a big advocate for solo dates. I'm a big advocate for, positive self affirmation, um, building yourself up, believing in you. But a lot of times we don't do that, right? So I'm a my thing is, as a man thinketh, so is he. right? That's what the Bible tells us. And so I do believe in the Bible. I don't push it on anyone, but from a belief system, whatever you believe, you should act upon and you should live out. And a lot of times our belief systems are kind of jacked up. And what I mean by that is we see so many different things and we just kind of want what we see. And so it's like, oh, how did you get that? Okay, I'm going to do that over here. And how did you get that? I'm going to do that over here. And so we have so many different things that we're just trying to do to achieve and receive somebody else's outcome because it looks good and it looks appealing. And we don't ever take the time to get to know who we are and dig down into our own belief system so that we can operate from that perspective and that trajectory to send us to the success that we really want to have. So I 100% agree with you that you do have to be intentional about you, your time, your well-being, all over. You know, when you talk about loving yourself, it's really mind, body, and soul. It's not just, oh, I
Mhm.
wore a nice outfit today, or I didn't have a bad day, so I'm good. You know what I mean? Like you have to really do things intentionally for you. Forgive yourself for your mistakes. You have to, really empower yourself and speak positivity into your life and do all of those things that really allow you to flourish and feel whole and feel a part of something, meaning yourself, right? Don't be a people pleaser. Don't worry about what other people think or how they feel about what you have going on for your life. That's living
Mhm.
free to me. I'm being able to be free and not care, not be concerned if you like what I'm doing. The
And
question is, do
that's
I
so
like it?
amazing. Yes, that's so amazing, so freely. And I wanted to go a little bit back. You were telling about the belief system, and I also agree with that. And I also want to leave a little bit of thought that for who is listening, think why you believe that thing. We have values, right? We have things we
Hmm.
believe. Go and think why you believe in that,
Yeah.
because many beliefs were forged during our journey
Upbringing.
since
Hmm.
childhood, right? And once I started to look with curiosity to that and try to,
Hmm.
for the same belief, try to see different perspectives,
Right.
it blew my mind. And I also changed some beliefs, and one of them was trying to learn how to pose, learn how to dress myself and be a certified image consultant, because
Hmm.
I thought I needed to have a professional look to that it was the way I would build
Hmm.
authority.
Yeah.
But in my journey, I understood I didn't need that, because I started to see, um, how do you say in English? Um, I started to see evidences that was possible to have success, to build authority, and not to try to fit on that professional look
Yeah. In a
side.
box.
And yes, yes. And if you go and see, this is a collective mind, right? It
Hmm.
was forged in our minds for so many years, and mostly in women. When women started to go outside and start to work outside home, they
Yeah.
didn't have many of evidence of how to portray, how to be, and they only had the example of men. That's
Hmm.
why nowadays, if you go and Google professional woman, you will see women in a suit, right? And those suits are very similar to men's suits, because there was not another example of how women could look professional. They
Hmm.
were trying to fit the male model. right? And nowadays, if you are curious and look, your brain will start to see even more and more evidences. And it's very, very important to ask yourself, why do I believe this?
Hmm.
Some values may change, others may be even more stronger because you know why you believe in
Yes.
that. It's a very, very interesting and powerful exercise for you to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I am super excited that you joined us today. This conversation has been very enlightening. I also would like for you to, as we're, winding down, to give some tips to the listeners who are maybe struggling, who may be an introvert, who want to expand their brand, or empower themselves to do something different. What would you tell them as they're trying to live their authentic self unapologetically?
Yes, that's a great question. And to start, understand your why. Why do you want to show up and why do you want to share your message? Understand the deepness of the message you want to share. Because when you are truly confident on the message you want to share and
Mhm.
the impact you want to make, you will more easily show up because you are not thinking about yourself, the way you look, the way you speak, and all about you. You are going to think about the message you want to spread and the people you want to impact.
Mhm.
So this is so very important. There are many people that start showing up, which is good, but they end, they stop because they aren't aligned with the message that they want.
Mhm.
They don't feel that strong bond with the message.
Mhm.
So it's very important to understand that and to overcome camera anxiety if you have, or if you don't, if you are not comfortable on camera. Take some time with you. Nowadays you have the work so facilitated with cell phones. When I started to do my journey, I had a big Olympus camera, and I would take what we now call selfies, and I took plenty of pictures of myself, and
Mhm.
I was not seeing myself, so it was a try and error. Take the picture and look to the screen of the camera,
Mhm.
but nowadays you can see yourself in the cell phone. Take some time and face the camera. Go goofy, go silly, and
Mhm.
face the camera. See, we are not symmetrical, and there are some sides of you like the best.
Mhm.
It's not the way for you to not show or hide, but it's important that you feel confident and comfortable. And when you start, it's important that you start with your best side because you will feel more comfortable with that. So yes, spare some time alone and take pictures of yourself to understand which the side, mostly on your face because it's what we share the most when we are
Mhm.
online, the face, and understand what you like. Don't focus on what you don't like. Okay?
Mhm.
Focus on the positive. What you like
Right.
is your eyebrows. I love my eyebrows, for instance, and I always focus on that. I don't like very much my nose or my lip, so I wouldn't focus on that. I focus on the eyebrow. Focus on something you like. It can be birth
Birthmark.
signal you
Mhm.
have, or I don't know, but focus on something you like. It can be something very minimal, but it will make an impact because once you start to focus on what you like, will start to see, oh, that thing I didn't like, it's
It's
not
not that
that bad.
bad. Mhm.
I'm comfortable about that. And like you were saying about your voice, the more you do, you get used. And if you are going to be on video, prepare because the voice you hear on record is not the voice you hear when you speak.
Mm-hmm.
And many people hold themselves from showing up because they are not used. But the way you will get used is the more recordings you do, and you can start uh, now going to showing up on video. You can start by only recording your voice. So you can get used to your voice. You
Mm-hmm.
can send voice notes to friends and colleagues instead of writing.
Texting.
Send
Mm-hmm.
voice notes and hear the voice notes, so you can get used to the voice you will share with the world. And then take some time and record yourself doing something. You don't need to be looking to the camera.
Mm-hmm.
You can do daily activities and speak out loud. And
Absolutely.
yes, there are many ways you can do. Start with the one you feel more scared. For me, was taking pictures. I didn't even envision it being on camera or being on podcasts, because my struggle was with pictures. So I
Right.
started with pictures, and then I enlarged my comfort zone and went to other areas,
Yeah.
developed other areas. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to accept it. It doesn't matter that you don't like it. Just accept it and then move forward once you accept it. It helps build your confidence too, because you
Mhm.
are comfortable. Like, I don't have to like it, but I'm comfortable in it because it's me and I've accepted who I am in totality. So,
Yeah.
again, Andrea, thank you so much for joining us. I hope the listeners have gained some knowledge and some value in this conversation, because I know I have. Remember, live your authentic self. Love yourself, because self love is essential, and love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus. Thank you guys so much for listening. And don't forget to come back next Tuesday. It's Transformation Tuesday here on Loving Me Before I Love
You. That's a wrap on another episode of Loving Me Before I Love You. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a second to show your support by subscribing and leaving a positive rating and review on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Stay connected with Tammy. Make sure you're following her on Instagram and TikTok at Coach Tammy Nicole. If you like to work with Tammy or have any questions you'd like her to answer, please head over to www.IamTammyNicole.com. Until next time, always remember to love yourself so much that the love from others is a bonus.